Hey guys, it's Dave, and I just wanted to make a quick video. As you well know, I'm into the video game and technology news, and this past week there's been an event called GDC. And what GDC is it's the Game Developers Conference. So there's been a lot of news coming out of the gaming world, but most importantly, sort of the belle of the ball when it comes to GDC has been this new service that's going to be coming out later this year, I think in winter, sometime in the winter, and it's called OnLive. And what OnLive is basically it's a video game streaming service. So what they hope will happen, or they hope to do, is they'll be able to run video games on their own servers, and then they'll stream the video to your OnLive enabled hardware, which is either PC, Mac, or one of their special consoles that hooks up to your TV. And then through that, you won't really have to have much of a powerful system in order to play some demanding games. So they demoed like Crysis. So really what it is you stream your controller or your keyboard and mouse inputs over the internet to their server, which is running the game up to 1,000 miles away from you, and then they stream the video back, and they do this quickly enough that you don't really notice any lag, or at least that's the sales pitch, and that's what they say, that's how they say it'll work. So more or less, it just makes your hardware, whatever you're running the game on, into a dumb terminal. So that means you can use MacBooks, Dells, just standard run-of-the-mill hardware.
It's 3 o'clock.
It's 3 o'clock. Thank you, Mac. Always making his little break-in in my video. You can use your hardware that isn't really, meant to play any sort of demanding game to play these games, because all you're really doing is streaming video. This has a lot of implications, and it's really hard not to be skeptical about it actually working, just because, bandwidth being the way it is, especially in the United States, it's hard to expect this to work because it's going to need such a large amount of bandwidth. But they've said that they really worked to make some proprietary hardware that will actually make it work. It encodes the video and streams it very quickly. So according to them, they've been working on it 7 years, since 2002, and they've figured it out. So that's just a brief introduction of what it is, but I kind of wanted to talk about the implications. First, I'll talk about the video game ones, and if I have time, maybe I'll make a second video too to talk about how this will apply to other industries, because if you can stream video games in this way, you can also do things like software. So for example, if I wanted to run Final Cut or something like that, but I didn't have the machine power to do that, I could pretty much do the same thing where it just streams back the video. And actually that might be easier to do, because if you think about it, video games are probably the most difficult area to implement this technology in, so they pretty much got the hardest part out of the way first. So to do software, operating systems, or applications would be a lot easier, you would think. So this is really pretty much a perfect example of cloud computing, and it's from a company that we never really expected to see it from. A lot of people didn't even know about them until just this past week, so it's kind of exciting. So as far as video games go, this kind of leads to the one console future. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically because gaming costs, the cost to make and develop games and distribute games and ship them and so on, are so expensive that it's getting to the point where video game developers can't really become exclusive to one platform or another if they're going to try to make a profit. So if I'm spending a huge amount of money on my video game, a Halo, a Metal Gear game, or whatever, it's hard for me to just release that on one platform, because I'm not getting my product out there to all the different gamers in the world. I'm just getting it out to like a third of the market or whatever. So you're not getting your exposure to as many people as you would like. So if this OnLive ends up working out, then anybody with a Mac, a PC, a TV can get access to these games. So it really opens up the market. Not only that, but given the development costs, you also have to take into account the cost to ship the game, to manufacture the game. So it's just really expensive, and a lot of those costs will be cut out eventually. Another thing is that this kind of hurts the retailers. So like companies like GameStop and so forth, they've already been against digital distribution. So applications like Steam, they're not really too happy about those, because it cuts them out of the deal. Nobody really has to come to their stores. They can just kind of buy something from Steam and download it. And again, that cuts out the processing costs. So that's the one console future, and given that this is all just like in development right now, it's kind of a pipe dream at this point, It's not really set in stone, but if this takes off, that could be a possibility that, you know, people could adopt OnLive or create similar services to OnLive, and we could just be getting our games through streaming, which is interesting. Me personally, I'm pretty skeptical about it. Like I said, just the amount of bandwidth you would need to pull something like this off, it's just kind of almost mind-boggling to consider. They say that it works up to 1,000 miles away, and what they're going to do is they're going to start out with a server center on the West Coast, a server center on the East Coast, and then one somewhere in the Midwest. And obviously this is all in the United States for now. And they say that up to 1,000 miles away you can get your games streamed to your device and not really notice any lag, which is pretty incredible. I encourage you to watch their demonstration. It's pretty long, it's about an hour long, but if you're into this sort of thing, it's well worth the watch. They demo a few games. They demo Crysis Warhead, and not only that, but they demo it multiplayer, 2 people playing multiplayer, and for all accounts and purposes, it doesn't really look like there's any lag. They do say that the server center that they're using in the demonstration is only 50 miles away, which you know, is something you should take into account, but still, just the fact that they're able to pull this off is pretty amazing, in my opinion. So I guess that's really it. The service, just the service point of things, not the technology, their user interface and so forth, looks really cool. It has some cool community features. This will also, because you're just streaming video, it brings into the account sort of watching video games as an event. So you could actually tune in and watch one of your friends playing a video game live because you're just accessing their video feed. They can do the same thing for you. So there could be more of this community sort of aspect around the whole video game industry as a result of services like OnLive. One thing to keep in consideration to think about, though, is that if one company were to really take advantage of this, then it kind of cuts out a lot of the competition. So there won't be as much innovation necessarily, which could also be a bad thing, but you can also expect, I think, companies like Microsoft, Sony to sort of pick up on this technology and maybe create their own services, or one of them could buy out OnLive eventually. You know, they're a newcomer. I'm sure they would love to get picked up by a huge company like Microsoft. So that's just something to keep in mind. I don't think that we really have to worry about a lot of the competition being cut out entirely. So those are my thoughts. This is kind of a long video. I'm almost heading to 8 minutes right now. But what do you think? Would you be interested in playing your video game streamed live over the internet? Do you think it's feasible? Do you think there's going to be a lot of lag? Me personally, I think, you know, just given some of the issues I've had locally with keeping a good internet connection through my cable provider, I don't know, it would be sort of a miracle for them to pull this off properly, but we'll see. They could run into some trouble in that last mile, or it could work flawlessly. So what do you think? I'd love to hear your comments. Leave a comment, maybe do a video response, whatever you feel like doing, and we'll see you later.